Part 2 of Keep It Going, Part 1 down below. Another new twist. So, we both arrived at the airport late due to horrible traffic. We said our goodbyes to everyone, packed, and just barely made it on time. I purchased my own ticket, and she flew on a buddy pass. The problem was that since we arrived so late, another plane with issues moved everyone onto her flight, so there was no room for her. I returned myself, and this is how my wife communicates. While leaving my wife and son behind at the airport, she said she will go the following day, not to worry, she promises, and everything will be fine. She gave me her suitcase to take with most of her shoes and clothes, as insurance of sorts. I didn't ask, it was her idea. So, Wednesday rolls around and she is ready to go to the airport. Then she changes her mind and says she will come Thursday. Then Friday, now it is Saturday. The problem was, since she does not think, our son turned 2 on Thursday, so needed a full-price ticket, $2,000. Luckily, her buddy pass girlfriend got her another from someone else, to schedule for Saturday. At this point, I am just drained, and am actually just tired of all the lies, changed stories, blame shifting, and complete BS. If she comes Saturday, I am just not even that into this relationship anymore either. It will be interesting to see how this goes. During the past few days, she also shifted to trying to work it out, not being in love with me, wanting a divorce, and then back to suggesting we start over and get remarried on our 4-year anniversary. I feel she has depression, but she is not open to hearing that. All of a sudden, seemingly, I am the reason for all that is bad in her life. Now she keeps mentioning divorce all day, sending me messages, but it seems she is trying to get a rise out of me the way she is doing it, or she really wants one. I have no idea. She has definitely changed from the woman I married. She does not, and having insomnia, seem to turn depressed, and has lacked interest in just about anything. However, while she was here, before this trip, she was still showing and exhibiting love towards me while together, while I was at work, via text, calls, emails, etc. But she is not the same woman I married by far. The other thing I notice, more than ever after this last trip and staying with her family, are cultural differences. People not keeping their word, and just saying things that sound good at the moment. An example could be 3 different people offering to drive us to the airport, but then they just change their mind and not even tell you if you actually accept the offer. Every day is like that with every little thing. Be less structure. No bedtimes, no mealtimes, just a bunch of people doing what they feel like, when they want. See less serious conversations. It is more about putting problems off and trying to feel good at the moment. Nobody really works, it is beach, have company at night, gossip. I could see why my wife is comfy there, in a way, for the time being. Just gossip, everyone fawning over our son, lots of family and people around, etc. But the reality is that families like her sis-in-laws always have a benefactor, usually a rich father, that foots the bill. Everything is so expensive there, that if you are not wealthy it is a miserable existence. At this point I can only classify it as immature conversation to get a rise out of me. In Brazil we agreed to work things out. Then online she keeps mentioning divorce until she arrived. Then on the way home she is saying, so how do we get a divorce? I can get a job and save money to start life in Brazil. Then 5 minutes later she is asking if I want to rent a movie tonight, wants to go to the park later, and wants a kiss and hug before I go to work. I was leaving without one and she said she could not believe. At this point, all she does is pick on my every move, state there is no turning back, wants a divorce, and does not want counseling. We have not slept in the same bed for the first time last night, except of course when she was gone. It is her first day back, and usually she is different, but never this much different. She did not leave the house. I worked, went shopping, took my son out, and she just laid around in her pajamas, being pissed about everything I did. Something was messy, I forgot to buy a certain grocery, etc. My plan is to try and be patient, and hopefully she will readjust to her life here again within a couple weeks, find a job which she claims to want now, and see how things go. Her ideas just seem crazy to me, that she thinks I would accept. Grand plans of her working for an airline somehow, being able to get me buddy passes, so that when she lives in Brazil, I can fly for free to see my son, and she is thinking that is acceptable. Rio is now one of the most expensive cities in the world, so the entire plan seems ridiculous. She has a hard time just being a stay-at-home mom now, and wants to put the kid in daycare here, yet she will go from this to being a single mom, working 50 hours a week, raising our son, 0 free time, no extra money, and completely struggling. Rent has skyrocketed in Rio, and she could forget about ever owning a car, new clothes, etc. The tariffs are outrageous. The kid would need private school. You either must be rich or you will live a very poor lifestyle in a more dangerous area. She had a hard time living on her own in Brazil, so her entire plan seems ridiculous. Just before she came, she wanted to work things out. Now here she said she is seeking a job, wants me to pay for daycare so she can save her money and move to Brazil with my son, while I support her for a few months in the meantime. And when I said this is crazy, she said I am selfish and only think of myself. And also, in her plan is that once she is in Brazil, I will send her $1,000 a month for a son she basically kidnapped and I will see twice a year. She said she will also come see me with him and I can pay for her flights and hotel for 2 months while I see him here. I think she is having a mental breakdown of a sorts. She lost her grandma, brother, dad, and now hates her mom again. She has nobody and is now doing her best to push my buttons and claims she does not love me anymore at all. I am not sure if she is seeking strength and reassurance from me, or if she really wants a divorce and to move. She doesn't even have a job in Rio, and her last one paid about $900 a month to work 60 hours a week at a school coordinating and teaching. Just a small apartment is double or triple that. As of tonight, still no talking to her. Everything was fine then, she said. Once I am in Brazil, instead of some money you can send clothes as they are cheaper in the USA. Then she said she wants me to find her a night job for 3 months here in the US. I am not a flight risk. She has my son. I talked to a lawyer today in the State Department and they both suggested I take the passport. Do you know the feeling I have and did have inside? I am playing with my son who loves me very much, and she is standing there telling me she will be ready to leave with him in 2 months but just wants to use me for a place to stay until she saves money. She needs to realize that is not acceptable. Last night I just spent the night at a hotel and returned today. She started with the "I am calling the cops" BS and I told her to go ahead, I live here too. Then she started with saying I want this divorce now. I just said okay. I feel she is majorly depressed and taking everything out on me. For now, I have nowhere else to go, nor do I feel I should leave. My son and I are bonding again. I want to talk her into getting some sort of help. In the meantime, I need to concentrate on myself again and spend time with my son. She spends a lot of time crying, not leaving the house, looking sad, mad. I am not sure if I am crazy, or my wife's ideas are just plain crazy. She is sulking, walking around pissed, sad, mad, and will not acknowledge me. Her plan, as she stated, was to move to Brazil with my son, with no money, start by just sleeping on the floor at her sis-in-law's, then find a job, then find an apartment, then have me send money and be totally happy that I will not see my son anymore. She does not think ahead that they will need food, clothes, a car, all the bills, school for my son. Does she think I would allow my son to be in this situation? How can she view my son as not belonging to me at all? Just 100% her son. I know I need to focus on myself, but I wonder if any other men had a wife or ex that viewed things in this manner. A couple days ago she just yelled at me and told me it is my job to find her a job. Since that she has just been laying around the house in pajamas. Things are better as of today, as at least she is not yelling or screaming. In her fog she is thinking she can get a job teaching, support our son, buy him everything necessary and somehow be happy. At 34 she could not do this for just herself, she quickly forgot. Even with 2 degrees, she was working 60 hours a week, with no car, no extra money basically to pay rent, at a job she hated and was treated like crap. As for her sister-in-law, she is also depressed yet drinks a lot. She has a rich father and collected a lot of life insurance. So, she is getting by in a seemingly fun way. But that is not reality. And once again, besides the deaths, she was happy with me and with life here. She left and questioned everything. I have the feeling if I did let her go, unless she instantly met a rich man and fell in love, she would be back within a month or 2. I also show her the texts and emails she was sending the days before she left, and she cannot even look at them. They all were saying love you more than ever, love you forever, best time of my life. Then everything changes so quickly after a trip back home. So, I get home from work and she has a new plan. She wants to reconcile with me, on the condition I give her the passport and sign a paper that my son can travel in the future with her back home to see family. Not a legal paper, but something me and her draw up and take to a notary. She has a job interview today, and quickly her tone changed about working. She wants to see and care for our son every day instead of daycare, says the money will not be much more, and just wants an allowance from me. I think she realizes now how good she had it, which is what we went through before. She claims I prevent her from working, but in the end, she never really wants to give up being a stay-at-home mom. I suggested she still go to the interview as the job is in fashion that she likes, and there is no way I am handing her the passport. At this point, not sure if it is genuine or a trick to get the passport. Regardless, I do not feel good about it yet and am not giving it to her. Anyway, as long as the passport is secure, and it is, my son will be safe with me. If she wanted to leave by herself, the door is open anytime. The strange thing is this, when most women throw these ideas around, it seems they are serious. As for my wife, I am sure she is serious at the moment, but it just depends which moment. Does she really want a divorce and be a working single mom? Does she really hate me this much as she says? I am perplexed myself. Does she want to work, watch the kid, actually, work and live in Brazil? I have no real idea, and I would like to add this. My son also has extended family in the States that like to see him, a grandpa, aunt, cousins, nephews. My wife's family is made of a lost sister-in-law, some nephews that are 20-year-old boys, and her mom. Her mom could always fly here as well. So, could any of them. There is no reason why my son would have to go there. My wife was so adamant about wanting to put our son in daycare and work for the past month. When we were on normal terms of trying to work this out, then as soon as the opportunity presented itself, she pulled a 180. I think at the time of her words to me she did want to actually work and have her own money. I think she was tired of staying home with our son all day. But I knew she did not really want to work and does not want to put our son in daycare. Yesterday she was then giving me examples of how kids are better raised by a stay-at-home mom than in daycare, which is why I question her entire plan from the beginning. She will work in Brazil full-time, put our kid in daycare, and pay all the bills herself. Yeah, right. She does not want that either. Even if I sent her money, she could not afford it, nor could she handle it. Which is why all of this confuses me. How could she be so adamant about wanting things, but they are things she does not really even want? She also is very impulsive. She wants what she wants immediately. She really did leave her job, family, and home to marry me. After only about 2 months of dating, I feel she really did love me at some time. But as quickly as she decided to marry me, now she is that quick to want out, if that is what she really wants, or if it is just what she says. I am not worried about her becoming a fugitive with my child. She is not really the type to be crossing borders, living on the run, etc. If she did somehow illegally smuggle my son out of the country, she would still be held liable under the Hague Convention, and she knows this. I am also worried about this. Can I trust her again even if she fell back in love with me? Will I love her again? Will I feel comfortable making long-term life plans with her? I do not know. Before she left, we started to try for baby number 2 and were looking at homes. Things have gotten better. She gave up trying to go to Brazil and we have been closer to being a couple again. She still sleeps in the other room, however. We had a good day Sunday, actually were kissing, until she just flipped out and went off on me for not parking close enough to our door, says I parked too close to a wall, and was not helping her remove the child from our car. After I took her out for breakfast and dinner, and then spent 4 hours at the mall, this was extremely annoying, so we did not talk the rest of the night again, and she says, see, we always fight. She goes out of her way to make things difficult, then says, see, you aren't helping. An example could be getting out of the car, her taking our son, and then filling both hands with packages and struggling. In these situations, my hands are already full and she knows I would just make another trip to the car, but she has to do the pour me, you do not help. Look, I need help seemingly on purpose just to start drama. For the past week or so we have been a couple like we were in the past. She cooks, says she loves me on the phone all the time, go places together, is looking for a job, with one exception. When we get home, she wants to sleep on the living room floor and claims she is not ready to be intimate yet and feels we are not ready to sleep in the same bed yet. So there has been no bonding. So, I am not sure what that really means or what to do about that. She hugs and kisses me more and more before bedtime, but no bonding. What keeps me around is, yes, feelings for her, but more importantly, I cannot imagine having my son grow up in a broken home, where I see him on only weekends or share custody, etc. I have never been religious or been to church in my life. I was desperate and reached out to what I thought was counseling on the internet. I went to a guy's house and he was talking about relationships, love, marriage, and Jesus. After telling her what he said, that seemed to be the turning point for her. Like a light bulb went off in her head. She is a believer, spiritual, and he said that some bad spirits entered her and she needs to pray. Since then, she has changed dramatically. So good news, my wife got a job as a preschool teacher and my son will attend the school for free. She is very happy at this time. My question is this: how do men deal with the things women say when some things are hurtful? Let me give an example. So, she texted me after getting the job and said now she will have money to spoil me, our son, money to buy her own things, etc. That was nice to hear. She was thinking of lots of things she likes to buy in her excitement as well. Trips, vacations, etc. But then she says this in the same sentence. Not sure if she was really even thinking, and I would love to spend my B-day in Brazil with my family. So, this bothered me on a few levels. But once again, will split us up. Be wanting to spend a day like that without me obviously hurts my feelings a bit. See the child issue, will it be another fight for him to stay or go? D once again, fixated on going back home already, and I do not want to hear this daily. So how is this handled? In the past I would tell her my objections, tell her she is being selfish, explain this is now our family. I would twist it and say something like, how would you feel if my B-day plan was to leave you alone and head back home, etc. These things always led to a fight. This time I just ignored it completely, but it bothered me when I was at work the next day. It seems we will never have peace. As my wife is more religious, spiritual, I guess what she did was give up things she likes for 3 weeks, and her request from God was to have things back the way they were before with us. So she had no coffee, Diet Coke, dessert, and that is why she was sleeping on the floor. So now, things are back to normal. She put her ring back on, is sleeping in bed with me again, really likes her job, and we are together again as we were in the past. She has really changed a lot, her smile and laugh are back, etc. Now, she talked to an aunt, and it turns out her mom is going to need a pacemaker or some sort of heart surgery. So, for first it was her grandma, then her brother, then her dad, now her mom. My wife does not fully know how much of this is real, but again yesterday she cried, envisioning her mom dying or being very sick. I hope my wife does not slip back into this depression again. A year later, last month my wife went to Brazil for a week, this time alone. Her reasoning was that she needed to see a dentist and friends. When I would ask who, or say it is ridiculous to spend $3,000 to see a dentist, she would get mad, angry, yell, scream, call names, etc. She has been working part-time to save for her ticket. I had to pay $500 for a sitter, so now she is back and I am going through hell. All she talks about is divorce, divorce, divorce. Won't sleep in the same bed, won't talk to me, etc. So, 2 days ago she seems to have calmed down and said we should live together as roommates. Of course, I still pay all the bills, car lease, rent on a nice home, etc. But now she says she started a new business in which she brings items to Brazil to sell. She is leaving in 2 weeks, again alone, and she told me I should take off work, my business that pays very bill, or pay for a sitter. All the money she claims she will make will be hers so she can move out and get her place at a later date. I am so fed up but lost. Don't know what to do. Divorce and see my kids sparingly. Not renew the lease and not have a home. I only have 5 days to decide. Just feel sick. I have no idea if she is having an affair. Somebody is influencing her. Could also be her mom. I have only put up with this hoping she would come back to reality for the sake of our son. I can't believe she is just willing to leave her son behind and now just say she is leaving anytime to bring goods to Brazil. I have my son's passport. No way will I let her have it. She says she wants divorce so that my son can visit Brazil and that a judge will allow her. At this point she is so unstable it is hard to keep the peace at home for my son as she does not even care. Only thinking about herself. She works part-time and all the bills are in my name. Not sure how to cut off her money. Talked to 2 lawyers today and both said no judge will allow her to take my son out of the country as he is only 3 and due to the past. The custody case will be $20,000 to $30,000. They suggested I let her go to Brazil alone as this is good proof for me that she just leaves. Now the problem with speaking to lawyers is of course they will say anything to get your business. Nobody is going to pick a lawyer who tells him bad news from the beginning. So, when everyone says ask a lawyer, nobody knows what is true until the final judgment. I am not sure. Week or 2 weeks. I read abandonment as a year. Problem is I have to pay for 2 weeks of a sitter which is not budgeted for either, and run my business, and so, everything while she vacations. Right now, can anyone help with this question? Our lease on our home is up in 5 days. My son loves our home. I do too. Do I renew with her on it? Not renew and look for a more affordable small apartment which will be hard to find. I am assuming I must still live with her. I asked a lawyer and he really didn't have much insight. Said I can move to a smaller place if I want. Her new business is simple. Brazil has huge tariffs so all American goods are 5 to 10 times as much. A pair of sunglasses here that is $100 is $500 there. Just an example. So, she claims she is buying things here to bring there that people asked her for and charge double. She is flying on a buddy pass so of course this might work once but not in the future to offset high airfare. And yes, sounds like an affair to me too. But this always happened when she would go. Could it be the same guy for 4 years? That she sees once a year? I have no idea. The hard part for me is that my son loves our house, and it was so much work and effort to make it the way we like. After talking to more lawyers, they all seem very confident I could get primary custody, or at the very least no judge would grant her full custody considering what she did before. My son would not be able to travel as long as I do not sign. I also talked to a friend who used to work for me, also married to a Brazilian. I think it must be the culture as our stories are identical. He is stick for similar reasons. They also said that alimony before 7 years is rarely granted unless a guy is making huge sums of money. $300,000 for example. What bothers me the most is that we have been so lucky. Quality of life improving. She had not one financial difficulty. I am a great father. Beautiful son. I think also she has this group of friends, and in their marriages the wife is always gone with the kids while the husband works. Either to go back home to Brazil or Colombia, take the kids to the beach, etc. Her mom had a maid and a nanny full-time, etc. So, life for these women is just about playtime. I grew up completely different. Although my father was from Europe, I could never imagine him saying okay later. Going back home by myself. It all seems completely selfish and every lawyer I told said the same thing. She is only thinking of herself. 2 months later, we are going through divorce and have a 3-year-old. Nothing filed yet, but she is completely 100% sure, according to her, and she has slept on the couch for 2 months. Twice in the past 2 months she went back to her country to visit. She just left me with my son, work, bills, etc. She was gone a total of 19 days. She has been extremely non-talkative unless she is yelling for the past 2 months. I would try to fix things, and all she says is I want divorce. I don't love you. I want divorce. No therapy or counseling. Won't even tell me why. Just says she does not love me. So today she asked me if I want to cook out. She texted me during the day saying she was lost and heartbroken. So, after dinner before bed, I went to hug her gently. She pulled away and was then staring at me like I was some monster. She then went to the kitchen and stood very far away. Never, and I mean never have I hit her, threatened to, or even came close to. She has hit me. I calmly left then called later. She told me I also never let her work. She has had a job for the past year which I encouraged her to get every step of the way. I made her resume. She then said I did not let her go to the gym as another example of how I controlled her. We had one conversation years ago where I just said I didn't want another bill as I knew she would never go. That was it. We even lived at a place with a free gym. So, it seemed wasteful. Now keep in mind I paid every bill since we met and still do. I took excellent care of her and our son. They never needed anything. I never asked what she did all day, ever, in a jealous fashion. It shocked me as to how she pulled away as if she was terrified. Now she is thinking everything is some type of abuse. When I asked why she is doing that, she just states at the TV straight ahead like I wasn't there. After she mentioned the gym membership on the phone, she cried and hung up. Wouldn't answer again. Is this an emotional breakdown? Some sort of disorder? Illness? Game? I have never seen this before. When I called to talk to her, she was saying too late, it's over. Then telling me I am playing games. I was calm and told her I agree, I know it is over. Can we agree on terms, etc. As our lease is up and they are asking me what we will do every day. We have a nice house, but it is not where I want to live if I am single, and it is more expensive. Not sure if I should stay, but that is another issue. So, then she was emotional and saying okay, I need a little financial help. If you can let me keep the car, I will let you drive it on weekends. I will let you drive it on weekends. Yeah, right, we can come up with a plan and you can have Nick half the time. I don't need much money, etc. Her tune changed as she probably discovered she does not get a free attorney. This will be expensive and not easy, etc. I have decided not to fight, so I was still agreeable. This is when she said, and if I remarry in a month then you can't be mad. I was shocked and said, what? You would remarry that quick? You must have someone. Just tell me. Then she said she doesn't, but never know when she might meet someone, etc. Later that night I sent her some links about how divorce will affect a toddler, so she can be prepared. She accused me of playing games, called me bipolar, and accused me of drinking. I had one beer. She said she doesn't want to hear it. Our son will be fine, and is no big deal. And no matter what, she won't change her mind. I just said okay, but I feel you should know what you are doing to him, and left it at that. So, at this point I have no idea if she made things up to hurt me, or it is all true and she is telling me. At this point all I can do is change myself. I don't need counseling. I'm not dependent on any chemicals. All I can do is change my mindset and quit getting wrapped up in any arguing or drama. Just let it ride. If she wants to move out, then go ahead. If she has someone lined up, I don't want her anyway. I just have to quit asking, quit wondering, and be happy for myself. I did this for the last day and she already waited for my son and I to come back from the park with the door open and texted me throughout the day with just short but polite replies from me. Let's see how this goes. Update. A man she met from Brazil is coming to visit her. I found out through her nephew. Her nephew from Brazil just told me he found out today. Yes, her mom knew. He told me her mom is very mad with her. But her mom did not tell me. Nobody knows I know. If I tell her mom, she will tell her daughter. I asked her if she had anything to tell me. Of course, she said no. I go to my room. She comes and starts crying, saying she wants to hug me so often, and that we did have good times. Then a minute later she said we never had good times. I just decided to leave and get a room for the night. Upon leaving she was shocked and terrified, saying what? Where are you going? I came back a minute later to get my phone charger and saw her standing in the kitchen crying. I just left for the night. It's the hardest thing in my life. Don't know what to do. Still dreaming of a reconciliation, although logically I am better alone. One more observation. My wife is not the type of person to do paperwork, find a place to live, set up utilities, etc. In fact, with her free time she still goes to the mall, took my son to the fire station, etc. There is no urgency. Planning for someone really moving out in 2 weeks. She would have no furniture, nothing. Is she really doing this? Found out he is moving to Atlanta for job relocation. The guy travels a lot for work. He is coming at the same time my wife is moving out. Here is my legal dilemma. File right now. However, in that case she can make it look like she did nothing wrong. I am kicking her out, and I need to support her. The upside is less time elapses, the ball gets rolling, and if she takes my son less time elapses before a hearing, as it might take a couple months, or wait for her to move. Then it looks like she abandoned me. She is her choice. I don't know her alimony. Might look better for me for custody too if she does this. My attorney friend says to wait. My attorney wants to file immediately, but of course he wants money as well. So, I asked my wife this morning what is going on with the process, and she gets mad and said, I filed. You will be served. I call the clerk of courts and nothing has been filed. Now she texted this, inserted fake names. OP, I've been very emotional. Right now, I'm crying having lunch with your son. I want you to know that it has been very hard on me. I appreciate everything you did to me, I mean it. You are a hardworking, responsible man and I hope your son learns a lot from you. You are also a selfless, simple person that took very good care financially of me and your son. Your son gets your love and attention too. You are a good dad and I'll never say anything different to him. You gave me the most precious thing in my life and I'll be forever thankful. She told me she filed. Once again, I am not sure as I have not been served. I traded her car in for something far more affordable. She was shocked, angry, sad, etc. She has been calling apartments as I noticed on the phone records, and attorneys. I am seeing my attorney tomorrow to see what he suggests. I do not want her to take my son out of this home. Her plan is to get a small apartment in the party area half-hour away with my son. Here is the issue. We moved to a different area 2 years ago that has better schools, my future thinking, and my son loves the yard, basement, garage etc. We have more space. Now that my wife is in the affair, she wants to move into the city into a small apartment. I am not sure if she plans on living with her new boyfriend or not. She just tells me she is moving and taking our son. The problem is that before there is a temporary hearing it might take 2 months, which means if she takes him and sets up a new residence, the courts are likely to continue with the status quo. This bothers me because it will disrupt our son, and her affair might not last. He will lose everything he loves at home. In my opinion, since she cheated and wants out, my son should stay put. She will not go for this idea as she wants child support and to establish a new home without losing her son. Any ideas how to prevent this? She just met this new man 2 months ago. He is from another country. I do not know him. She barely knows him. It seems I cannot prove enough to a court to get an emergency hearing. I just want to protect my son, but do not want to do anything to jeopardize future custody. I am clearly the better parent, but now it just comes down to who will get primary custody. She takes him to daycare and teaches, but she wants to move out of the home and take him to a small apartment in the city. She also has a very low-paying job. She also left us twice within the past 3 months for a total of 21 days. I had to watch our son, work, arrange and pay for childcare etc. in the past year and a half. She also left for Brazil with him and stayed an extra 50 days saying she will just move there and I should send money. I had to contact the State Department and go there to finally convince her to come back. I never left the home for one night. I wake my son up, give him breakfast, play with him for 2 hours every night, give him a bath, read him a book and put him in bed. I have had the same job for 17 years. He is in the home he is used to and loves. Big yard, basement etc. I also have the ability to make my own schedule. Perhaps have a nanny twice a week, daycare etc. Here is the thing. She wants to move out and in with her new boyfriend and take my son. Right now, I live in the top school district. She wants to move to the party district. She makes $600 a month and has no credit. So, while she might lie about her new boyfriend, would a judge really uproot a child and put him into an apartment with a woman that has her track record? Overnight he would lose his yard, soccer field, sandbox, car to drive in the culture to sack, etc. everything he loves. The temporary hearing will be vital. I think what amazes me most is that she had an affair. She is breaking up our family for a guy she knows for a couple of months. We have a 3-year-old son. I have to spend a lot on an attorney. I got into a car accident and need physical therapy. My business has suffered. My life is upside down. And what does she complain about daily? That I traded in the Jeep for a more affordable car and is demanding I get her an SUV. Meanwhile I still pay every single bill, even her cell phone. Part 3 ending coming today as well. Subscribe right away and you will not miss the final ending.